Good morning. I call to order the January 9th Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. It's 9:30 in the morning. I'll have a roll call, please.
Commissioner Curley, Commissioner Dan Zeisen,
Here.
Commissioner Lawrence, Commissioner Montoya,
Here.
Vice Chair Lindblom,
I'm here.
Commissioner Milhaven.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you very much. This meeting has been noticed in accordance with Open Meeting Law ARS 38431. Agendas are available within 24 hours of each meeting in the Maricopa County Planning and Development Office and are also available on the Planning and Development website 1 week prior to the hearing at www.maricopa.gov/planning. Staff reports prepared for each agenda item shall become a part of the permanent record for each case. With respect to the hearing process, cases will be considered in the order they appear on the agenda unless otherwise agreed to by the commission. For each case, the applicant will be given a set amount of time to present. Anyone wishing to speak on a particular case shall fill out a speaker's card for in-person attendance or raise your hand within GoToWebinar. The amount of time allowed for speaking shall be at the discretion of the commission chair. Staff will provide the chairman with the names of persons who have registered and noted desire to comment, and those registered participants who have raised their hand. The chairman will call on each named participant one at a time. The chairman will conduct the hybrid in-person and virtual public meeting according to the bylaws and according to the rules established by the chairman regarding public comment. Votes will be done by roll call vote only, and the chairman will verbally identify the specific members responsible for all motions. I'd additionally like to comment, this is my first time chairing this commission, and I am still a new commissioner, so I hope you will give me some grace, and I apologize in advance, and welcome staff's corrections to any procedural issues. So thank you. So we'll move forward with acceptance of the minutes from November 7th, 2024, and November 21st, 2024. Commissioners have any comments or questions about the minutes? Hearing none, we accept the minutes for November 7th and November 21st, 2024. First agenda item is case MCP 240002, and they've requested a continuance to February 6th, 2025. So there's no action to be taken there. Next, we'll move on to the consent agenda and staff.
Yes, Madam Acting Chair Milhaven, I'd like to note that Commissioner Curley is on the telephone.
Thank you.
And there are two items that remain on consent. They are SU 240009, known as PHO Ranchos 10 in District 5. It's a special use permit for an 80-foot high monopole WCF in the Rural 43 zoning district on a lease site within a 1 acre parcel north of the northwest corner of 307th Avenue and Yuma Road. The reason for the SUP is the array is greater than 16 feet in diameter, where the ordinance allows a maximum of 8 feet. There's no known opposition. The recommendation in paragraph 12 is for approval subject to conditions A through H. And then the final consent item is SU 240010, known as Rough Diamond Storage in District 4. This is special use permit for RV storage in the Rural 43 zoning district. Yeah. It's a 2.15 acre site west of the southwest corner of 117th Avenue and Harmony Lane in the Sun City area. There's no known opposition. The approval in paragraph 11 is for conditions A through H, but I would draw your attention, we also have handout today that revises condition C, extending the validity period from 20 to 25 years through February 12th, 2050. And that concludes the consent agenda. I'm happy to try and answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Do we have any public comment on consent agenda items? Appears we have no public comment. Do commissioners have any comments or questions about the consent agenda items? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Acting Chair Milhaven, this is Commissioner Lindblom. I'll make a motion to approve consent agenda items SU 240009 and SU 240010 as presented by staff.
Second.
So you're intentionally not accepting the change?
My apologies, Madam Acting Chair Milhaven. Also, that motion should accept the changes with, I believe you said, staff said condition C.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we need to wait? Okay, so we have no public comment. Okay. All right. In that case, we'll take a vote. Thank you.
Commissioner Curley,
Commissioner Curley, in the event that you don't have audio, you can text me or call me on that number. He says yes.
that's a yes from Commissioner Curley. Commissioner Dan Zyson.
Yes.
Commissioner Lawrence, are you on the line? Commissioner Montoya.
Yes.
Vice Chair Lindblom.
Yes.
Chair Milhaven.
Yes.
Chairman, we have a motion recommending approval of the consent agenda by a vote of 5-0.
Thank you. So we'll move on to our regular agenda and hear from staff. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Agenda item number 4, KCPA 2024-003 is a general comprehensive plan amendment of the old US Highway 80 area plan to change the land use destination from large lot residential to utilities, which is also running concurrently with agenda item number 5, case C 2024-040, a zone change from Rural 43 to IND2 IUPD with a plan of development for the development of a solar energy generating facility known as Sun Basin 3. The site is owned by the Arizona State Land Department and is comprised of 520 acres located south of Narramore Road and west of 339th Avenue in the Arlington area. The project is one of several Sun Basin projects within the region. Primary access is anticipated to be on Narramore Road, which traverses through the northeastern portion of the site, curving southward into Arlington School Road. Much of the surrounding area, west and south of Arlington, have been entitled and developed as utility-scale solar power generating facilities. The applicant is requesting to deviate specific development standards under the IUPD zoning overlay to facilitate the development per industry standards similar to other solar facilities in this region. The applicant acknowledges the existing residential community of Arlington to the east and are proposing a no development area with an enhanced buffer of 690 feet from the nearest residential parcel boundary and 570 feet from the eastern site boundary line as indicated in the handout memo dated January 7th. Staff received a petition in opposition with 95 individuals representing 47 known property addresses located in the approximate vicinity of the proposed site. Neighbors stated concerns in regards to natural habitat, heat island effect, and impact to property values. The applicant has coordinated with the Arizona Fish and Game Department to develop fencing with small gaps along the ground to allow for small wildlife to traverse the site. Staff is supportive of the general comprehensive plan amendment and zone change request with a plan of development as a proposed solar facility is well suited to this rural area as the use requires large amounts of flat land and the surrounding area is undeveloped. The project is consistent with regional land use and development patterns that will not affect the area's visual quality. Staff recommends the commission to adopt a motion to recommend approval for case CPA 2024-003 and to adopt a motion to recommend approval for case C 2024-040, subject to conditions A through H outlined in the staff report with the updates provided on the handout dated January 7th. At this time, I'm open to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners have any comments or questions of staff? No. In that case, we'll move on to the applicant.
Thank you. Good morning, Madam Acting Chair and Commissioners online. Happy New Year to everybody, and thank you for being here this morning. Carolyn Oberholzer with Bergen Frakes, Smalley and Oberholzer, 4343 East Camelback, here on behalf of Long Road for the Sun Basin 3 project. I do have a brief presentation to supplement Paula's. I appreciate everything she outlined for you today. If we could go to the next slide. Thank you. So this just details all of Long Road's projects in the area. The driving force of this location, as Paula mentioned, is flat land, but also proximate to Palo Verde Nuclear Generating Station and all of the switchyards around it and transmission. This area is vital to the critical infrastructure for power that's being developed to support our growth. And Long Road has a long history of doing that successfully in the county. So we are, this case is circled on this exhibit, the Sun Basin 3 project. You'll see that the Sunstreams project that's purple next to it, that is developed and almost completed. And so this project will then carry forward that same development pattern that is to the west of this. Next slide, please. So this is the larger Sun Basin complex. Last month, you'll recall we had 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6 on your agenda. 4 was the one that we talked about where there was opposition, and we've continued dialogue with the same residents through this case. The blue on this map indicates everything that is state trust land. So like that case that we discussed last month, this is also state trust land, which has to be managed constitutionally to maximize the revenue to its beneficiaries. Every acre is assigned a specific beneficiary. The entirety of Sun Basin 3 is the K-12 Common Schools Fund. So proceeds from the lease for this purpose or any other proceeds generated on this land goes to that specific beneficiary. Next slide, please. I think we can probably skip a few. This one is just, again, showing the close-ups of the land uses because there's utilities to the west, business park to the southeast, large lot residential to the east. This utilities will complete that gap in between the existing Sunstreams complex to the west and the Arlington School Road. Next slide. Next one, please. So we did receive a lot of feedback from the public from our initial notifications. So that started to happen, I think at the beginning of last summer. And summer's not an ideal time to gather everybody. So this case lagged behind the rest. So it would give us time to have a community meeting and start working with the neighbors to see if we could address their concerns in the way that the project is laid out. We held those meetings in August, and the topics of concern were covered in the report and by staff. I know there are a couple of them here today to speak in as well on what their concerns are, but generally, you know, it's the proximity of the panels to their community, the dust and activity that happens during construction, the wildlife. Basically, it's just going to be developed where it's been undeveloped desert for as long as they can remember. So to account for that, we had originally proposed a 100-foot setback from the Arlington School future right-of-way, which would actually set back a couple hundred feet from their existing property boundaries. After last month's case on Sun Basin 4, we were able to speak with them further, and we talked more about the areas of concern. So we went farther in between then and now, which is why you have the handout and the updated stipulations today, which refer to an enhanced setback area. So next slide, please. Actually, this shows just the opposition location in relation to the petition that was submitted. The majority, there's a handful, certainly about 20 that are within a mile, and the balance appear to be beyond a mile from the property. Next slide. Okay, so this is the enhanced setback area. We have translated this to the plan of development that is on file with the county. So should you recommend approval, that plan of development application will be immediately updated to include this area as the no build area, as staff mentioned. So what we would be doing is shifting the fence line back to the east side of that blue area, and the red line on this, it's hard to see from this far away, but the red line represented the former 100-foot setback. So all told, when you have the vantage point of the homes to the east looking west, from their property boundary, not into their property. We're talking about almost 700 feet west. So with slatted fencing, I'm going to show you a few pictures very quickly that show just how this screening technique works. If we could go, I think, Rachel, 2 more slides. That's the plan of development to show that we've already accounted for this in the documents. Next one, please. So this, we use this same slatted fencing in the Sunstreams complex. This is a part of the project that is south of Siloam Highway. The vantage point for this picture we took because it's super flat and very sparsely vegetated. The area west of Arlington has much more topography and it has much more vegetation. But this was to show that in the context of from a point 225 feet away, looking at that fence line, it really does blend into the desert. Next slide shows you a little bit farther back from a different vantage point. This is on the opposite side of a dirt road, which is again getting a little bit more close to the condition of what it would be like west of Arlington. This is at 260 feet. And then next slide, please. Then we went to another spot. This is 320 feet. So where we're talking about is still going to be double this and then some from their closest property boundary. And you can see on this exhibit in a very flat, not obscured by topography, sparsely vegetated area, you can barely see anything out there. So we hope that these exhibits work to address the community concerns. We did have an opportunity this morning to review these updates with them, and I'm sure they'll speak to that. But we hope that we have done enough to mitigate the concerns and still have a viable project for this critical infrastructure, which is why they're doing this. The power companies have said, we need this power, we need you to provide for it. And so we hope that we can all do that together. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Excuse me. And we have 2 people in person to comment on this case. Charlie Hansen. And thank you for coming down. You have 2 minutes. Please state your name and address.
33812 West Knox Road. My name is Charlie Hansen, and I've been a resident of Arlington, Arizona for all 13 years of my life. Some of my best memories as a child are from across the road of my house, and slowly it became a part of my home and heart. So many memories, laughs, and fun spent with friends and family in the areas you've already taken and plan to continue on taking. You've already stripped the homes for many animals, and at this point, it seems as if you're starting to take mine. I remember all the mornings walking to the bus stop with my big brothers while we sat on our bench and looked at the nature ahead. All of us that have the privilege of living out here know how lucky we are to be able to see the beauty of this area. Now that my brothers are working, we usually don't have much time to go on Jeep and quad rides, but me and the other kids in the neighborhood have began to create new memories with going on ranger rides, playing in the washes, and riding horses together on the desert you plan on covering. Taking away even more land than you've already gotten a hold of would be absolutely devastating, because now I know I'll never get to come back to my hometown on holidays so my kids can see their grandparents, and I won't be able to show them where me and my friends would ride horses as we watch the sunset. I won't get to show them where me and their uncles would ride our quads and dirt bikes around for hours on end. I won't get to show them where I made all these amazing memories when I was their age. Instead, I get to stand there and look at a sea of metal. Approving this project would be stripping away so many memories and parts of our hearts.
Thank you for coming down. The next speaker is Cammie Hansen.
Hello. My name is Cammie Hansen, also 33812 West Knox Road. We will be directly across the road from the proposed site. I want to start by saying that Sun Basin representatives have reached out to me and have made some adjustments to the plan. Ideally, of course, I would like to see the project completely stopped, but I do very much appreciate the attempt to work with us. That being said, here is my take on the project. As stated before, my name is Cammie Hansen. I am a 20+ year resident of Arlington Farms. My husband has been here for over 40 years, along with his family. We have raised our 3 amazing children in Arlington Farms. The proposed Sun Basin 3 will border the majority of the west side of our community. This is a residential area, including 3 bus stops that will be directly across the road from the proposed solar plant. The land they intend to use is something that most of the community utilizes for walking, riding horses, walking their dogs, riding ATVs, or just enjoying the beauty of our local desert. I would like to start by expressing the inefficiency of solar energy. Stats show solar only operates at full power for 23% of the year in 2023. This makes solar the lowest efficiency of any energy source. It takes 640 acres to produce 1,000 megawatts at a nuclear power generating station, which produces enough electricity to provide power to 775,000 homes for a year. To produce the same amount of electricity, you would need 4,000 megawatts of installed solar power, occupying 38 times as much land area. Solar's efficiency continues to decrease as it ages and in extreme heat. Solar is incredibly inefficient and utilizes a tremendous amount of land. The Arlington community currently has the largest nuclear power plant in the country. Another issue with solar is the tremendous loss of animal habitat. When these plants are installed, they clear cut all the vegetation and level the land. The proposed area they will be using contains numerous mesquite thickets that are home to a wide variety of desert animals. I have personally witnessed Gila monsters and desert tortoises. We also have a large deer population in the Arlington area. This population has been pushed into a very small habitat from the solar fields currently. Sorry, I'm trying to go as fast as I can.
Okay, we'll give you a little extra time.
In place, and they have started to migrate in our residential area. We have also started to see wild burrows in our community, something we have never had in our experience in experiencing an increase in snakes and coyotes. The fencing around these facilities restricts the movements of larger animals, and clearing and leveling of the ground kills and or destroys the homes of burrowing animals. The solar project produce a tremendous amount of dust in our area. I can personally attest to this. From my back porch, I have a mountain that is predominantly visible. The recent dust storms we have had have gotten so bad that I am unable to see the entire mountain. We are already encompassed by solar fields and the effects are undeniable. These facilities have been shown to increase temperatures in the general area, which is called the heat island effect. In some studies, this suggests 5 to 7 degrees Fahrenheit increase. This happens when the vegetation is removed and it's covered with dark solar panels, which prevent absorption and reflection, not allowing the ground to cool naturally. Solar plants also come with the risk of fires. I'll try to go a little faster. The U.S. Fire Administration said the solar panel fires more than doubled from 2015 to 2018. These can cause environmental hazards. There's also a risk of fire from the battery energy storage systems, or BESS. The U.S. has had the second most major fires from 2011 to 2023 at energy storage facility. The solar plants utilize our groundwater during construction to maintain dust control. I've personally witnessed this, and it's a tremendous amount of water taken from our aquifers. I think it's important to point out that in the last decade, solar power has received significantly more federal subsidies than any other power. If broken down by megawatt hour, natural gas and oil are at 39 cents, coal 73 cents, nuclear $1.93, wind $18.86, solar by far the highest at $82.45. Is the purpose of these solar plants providing reliable power, or is it profit? The only benefit that our community has been promised is revenue from lease from state trust land. This revenue will go through K through 12 schooling, but will be given to the state of Arizona to be distributed as needed. Everyone in this community realizes this will not go to our local school or anything that the community could possibly need. We will just be shouldering all of the sacrifice with absolutely no benefit. I could continue on, but I clearly already went over my 2 minutes. I just want to say that if all of these are approved, it will take over 2,200 acres of natural habitat. I recognize the need for power 100%. I get it. We are surrounded by power plants, natural gas plants, and everything else. It's just, I truly ask that we use prudence and common sense when we're placing these things directly across the road from well-established neighborhoods. That is, like I said, 100+ year community. My mother-in-law has been there for 45 years. I just would hate to see her have to see it go to that. But that is my thing. And again, I would like to say thank you for them working with us. They have tried. I realize they have a job to do, but I have a community to try to protect. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hanson. We also have a comment card from someone in person who does not want to speak, but submitted a card in opposition to the case. Do we have any folks online who'd like to comment? Andrew? You've registered to speak, but not raised your hand.
Sorry, I'm just trying to get these done. I apologize. I don't have the ability to see what's going on, but I'm hearing the meeting. So I apologize. I'm definitely in opposition. My name is Andrew Altman. I don't actually have an address as of yet, mainly because I have land and I want to develop it. And I had a beautiful view of a mountain, and it's why the reason I bought the land years ago to be able to retire out there. The mountain looks like it's no longer. So I'm in opposition, but I'm open to learning more about it. So that's where I stand at this present time. Anybody is more than welcome to contact me. I'm not sure what legislative district this is, but I would like to know. I think it was 5, but please correct me if I'm wrong. Other than that, thank you very much for your time. And any time I have left over, I'm more than willing to give to any of the people that have opposition if they need to say something. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Altman. And yes, it's in District 5. Do we have anyone else who would like to speak? There's no other comments for online. Commissioners, any comments or questions on this case? All right, no comments or questions.
Madam Acting Chair, I do have a question. This is Commissioner Romo. This project, for this question for staff, it does not have any battery storage, correct?
No, there's none proposed at this time.
Under this approval, would they be allowed to put battery storage there?
The steps we allow. Yes, it would be allowed as a future use on site.
Thank you. Questions?
Madam Chair, I have a question for staff.
Yes, Commissioner Montoya.
Yes, can you clarify what the recommendation is?
The recommendation for both the CPA and the zone change was a recommendation for approval.
Yes, I understand that, but did the conditions A through H change?
I think she's referring to this.
Oh, the conditions, it just adds language stating that the enhanced exhibit that shows that the distance for fencing will be added to the POD, and language has also been added to the conditions.
So would that be like an additional setback since they're agreeing to shift back from the line of sight for this slated fence?
Yes, the STIP language in the recommendation is changed. Condition C talks about industrial to IUPD standards, and item 1 was a minimum front setback 10 feet except along Arlington School Road, Narramore Road, and 339th Avenue where 100-foot setback is required. Then there's an added phrase, except in locations generally depicted on the enhanced setback exhibit dated 12/27/24. In these areas, no fencing or solar facilities are permitted. And so that's referring to this additional exhibit that's going to be inserted for further restriction of development. And then item number 2, minimum side setback 10 feet, except along Arlington School Road, Narramore Road, and 339th Avenue, where 100 feet is required. And then we're adding language, except in locations generally depicted in the enhanced setback exhibit dated 12/27/24. In these areas, no fencing or solar facilities are permitted. And we're going to do the same for item 3 that says minimum rear setback 10 feet, except along certain roads where 100 feet is required. And then we're adding that same language about the enhanced setback exhibit. So we are further restricting. Oh, and there's a slide showing that right now.
Would it be possible to, sorry, Madam Acting Chair, would it be possible to show the slide that actually is the exhibit? not just the stipulation language.
Give us one moment.
Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
if there aren't any other comments, I'm prepared to make a motion.
Okay, we'll accept a motion.
I move that I recommend that we approve item CPA 2024003 and approve case number Z 2024040, approve with conditions A through H with the changes made to stipulation C.
I'm sorry, that's B and C.
The motion maker, it's B and C.
Yes.
Thank you. Is there a second? I'll go ahead and second it. Commissioners have any other comments or questions? All right, I'll just make a brief comment to the folks who spoke on this. My family came here 50 years ago, and the places where I love to play in the desert have all been developed. So it's very sad to see when the desert disappears. But to not allow a property owner to build something on their property to preserve the desert would be denying them their property rights. And so I'm certainly going to be supporting it, although it's always sad to see open desert disappear. The property owner has a right to develop their property. So with that, we'll call for a vote.
Commissioner Curley,
Sorry, I couldn't hear the last 10 seconds. Just to clarify, was the recommendation for approval?
Yes.
Okay, then yes.
Commissioner Dan Zyson,
Yes.
Commissioner Montoya,
Yes.
Vice Chair Lindblom,
Yes.
Chair Milhaven.
Yes.
Here we have a motion recommending approval by a vote of 5-0.
Thank you very much. Next item, do we have any other matters from staff?
No, we do not.
No other matters. So do we vote to adjourn or do we just adjourn? Wait a minute.
We were just discussing whether we needed two separate motions.
Oh,
I know we've done that both ways, including at the board level. So I think we're okay.
okay. So you're okay. So we're good.
We have no other items.
No other items. Okay. And then do we just adjourn or do we vote to adjourn? Having no additional business, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Acting Chair Milhaven. You did an awesome job.
I echo that
Thank you.
sentiment.
Thank you very much.